Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about the new releases from Gwar, Bleed From Within, and Red-Handed Denial. So, 3 albums to talk about. I guess I'll open it up with Red-Handed Denial. I know you didn't get a chance to check it out, but this album is called I'd Rather Be Asleep, which I guess is a pretty funny name for an album. Now, I haven't listened to these guys in a while. They're known for being a prog band, and that was kind of what was in my head going into this album, but when I listened to it, I got a lot more of a metalcore impression from this album, which I think is actually pretty cool, that it kind of just turned out as like metalcore with the prog elements there, so it feels like just kind of an evolution of their sound, right?
Yeah.
And I even like, as soon as the album came out, I kind of just started noticing that, like, this kind of sounds like something ABR would do. But I was kind of, I feel like they're in a similar vein as Spirit Box, you could say, but I feel like, honestly, they kind of do what Spirit Box does, but just better and more interesting. And this vocalist, she is a powerhouse. Fantastic cleans, really cool harshes, a decent variety of different harshes too. Really like that. A few songs that kind of stood out to me: Fix Me, Marked with a Curse, Rose. Yeah, Cloud9 is a pretty good one as well. So overall, it's a pretty fun album. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Did you say clean vocals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
like power metal, like Pretty Slays kind of stuff, or?
Well, in terms of the cleans, I would say,
Like, what's she comparable to?
like, cleans wise, I guess perhaps Courtney LaPlante. Like I said,
Okay.
like in that regard. But it's like the harshes sound like more like Alyssa White kind of.
Okay.
But there's a lot more, like, there's a good variety of harshes. Like, she's got a really nice range. Very nice harshes, very nice cleans. Like, good sound.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but it sounds pretty interesting. So what else? What did you listen to first between The New Dark Ages by Guar and Shrine by Bleed From Within?
Well, I started my day with Shrine, and I was really looking forward to it. All the singles we listened to were really good. I enjoyed
Which ones were those again? Remind me.
Those were,
I think Levitate was one.
Levitate was one,
Flesh and Stone was one.
and the other one was,
I want to say I Am Damnation, but I could be wrong. For some reason that's...
I don't think it was I Am Damnation.
No?
I think it was Stand Down.
Maybe. Yeah, the one with the riot cops.
Right, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it
it
was
was with the riot. So, I was enjoying this album quite a bit for like almost the entire time. And I say almost because when I got near the end, I started thinking to myself, like, you know, all these songs are kind of doing the same thing, but they're doing a really good thing. But it's like near the end, I'm just like, you know, I feel like I've kind of heard what this album has to offer already multiple times. But at least it's a good thing that I've enjoyed. And, you know, it starts out with I Am Damnation with such an awesome bounce to it. Like, I put this on like, oh yeah, let's go, this is sick. Sovereign has awesome energy in the solo. Flesh and Stone is still sick. Loved that when we heard it. I still love it now. Invisible Enemy, that's got an awesome breakdown to it. The only thing that really stood out to me as like not good was Sky, which is like, it's in the middle of the album. It's like a 50-second transition that just kind of sounds out of place.
Yeah.
And then it goes into Stand Down, which is a good song. But I just thought to myself, like, why is this here? It doesn't really do anything.
Just an interlude. Bands do that. I don't like it either.
You'd think at least, though, if you did it well, it would flow through the album well. Because I know we've heard interlude tracks that flow seamlessly.
Yeah.
You know, for example, on Whitechapel's last record, they did an amazing job with that.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was not done well. I just heard it. I was just like, what was that? What? Why this is under a minute? Why is this here?
Yeah.
So, ignoring that, it's still overall good. I just feel like as it was going on, I feel like, okay, well, I've kind of heard this. I like it, but I feel like I've already heard this kind of thing from the rest of the album.
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty good album too on my first impressions. I listened to it a couple times. So my problem with it is kind of similar to you in a way. Maybe I'll use a different wording, or maybe it's a different thing altogether. I'm not sure, but my problem with it is that it's all really good music. I can get behind all of it, but it feels very cookie cutter to me. This is another example. We've been talking about this a lot lately on the channel. Is certain bands don't take chances anymore, and this is one of those examples where I feel like they're just playing it safe, doing what they know what they do, But the thing is, they do it well. So can you really fault them for that? It's hard to. For me, the album starts out pretty good. It's enjoyable, does a lot of cool stuff. There's great solo in Levitate, I think is good. The bounce, like Stevie Fish mentioned, awesome. But for me, the end of the album seemed to get a little bit stronger, which is unusual. Usually it's the other way around. But Shapeshifter was the song that stood out to me the most. That's track number 9 out of 12. Really cool bridge groove, nice riffs. The chorus is super catchy. And I like how the energy kind of fluctuates. It's really high energy at certain points, and it dips up and down and gives you nice contours and variety. Track number 11, Killing Time, also really cool. One thing I noticed about the end of this song, it has a very Lamb of God-esque riff at the end. I don't know if you'd call it a ripoff or an homage or maybe just a coincidence, but it really reminded me of something off Ashes of the Wake. Can't remember really pinpoint exactly which song. And it was just a part. It wasn't the whole thing or anything. And then the last song, Paradise, I thought was really cool. Specifically the ending breakdown. It has this cool little riffing thing that they do in the breakdown. Nothing too crazy or abnormal or anything, but stuff that catches your ear and makes you go, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's interesting, right? So there's that kind of stuff sprinkled throughout the album. It's got a lot going for it. I just felt like overall it was pretty cookie cutter, at least on a first couple listens. So
something I didn't like. Another thing to consider is that it's a bit different than their sound of the last few records, because I believe was the one that we covered before. Like, we didn't cover Fracture, but before that, was it called Era?
Oh.
Either way, we covered the one that was before Fracture, and it was fine. And then Fracture came out. I thought it was great. We didn't get the chance to cover it. But I would say this sounds a lot different than both of those. I feel like they went for a lot more of a melodic approach with this album.
Yeah.
But Fracture was a lot more aggressive sounding, I'll say that.
Fair enough.
It's an interesting...
Maybe they are taking chances, but either way, it still sounds like... I want to use the word cookie cutter again, because it feels like... It feels like there's 10 different bands that sound like this. That's kind of how I feel about it. But on to Gwar. The New Dark Ages. This is the album I started my day out with. So I'm a much bigger Gwar fan than TV Fish is, but I'm not the biggest Gwar fan. I don't know their entire discography. But I do know that there's like a pocket in the middle of the discography that I tend to like the best. My memory sucks. You guys know this if you watch the channel. I don't remember the names of the albums or even song names or whatever, but there's just
all I know is that, like, your favorite is Violence Has Arrived. I haven't listened to that
Violence Has Arrived.
Maybe one day, but I know you like that one a lot.
I want to say War Party. Is that the name of an album or just a song?
I think that is. I was skimming through the discography when we were when I was checking this album out, and I did notice that was in like 2004.
Yeah, so there's that. So let's say between like, I don't know, 2003, 2004, and 2008, 2009, whatever albums came out in that chunk, that's the Gwar I like. Anyways, I feel like this new album fits in with those, but it's not quite that pinnacle status yet. It's like maybe bottom tier of those, and that's just on the first couple listens. One thing that a lot of people are probably gonna be like, oh, what about the singer, yada yada. Like, I know, what was the last album they did?
Well, that was The Blood of God.
The Blood of God.
And we did cover that album.
We did cover it, and that was with the new vocalist. But I felt like that was a rushed album. I felt like that there was not a lot of care put into it. They just threw it all together, put it out there just for an album, whatever. This one, I feel like has care. I feel like it has character. I feel like they put a lot of thought and a lot of emotion and energy into it, and I feel like this is where the new singer is shining. Is he Dave Brockie or Brockie, I think his name is? No, he's not. That guy's irreplaceable in my opinion, but this new guy, whose name I don't know, and I suck for not knowing it, sorry, but I think he does a great job. He doesn't sound just like Dave, but he still has the same energy, the same characteristics as Dave.
Like, he fits in with Gwar.
He fits in Gwar. He still makes it sound like Gwar. But you take a track like Rise Again, track number 8. The vocals on this song impressed me a lot because you really get a sense that this guy's got a really unique voice. He's got a lot of vulnerability in his voice. He's got a lot of just feeling in his voice. And he can do it soft, he can do it hard, he can do all of that stuff. You know, when I say hard, I'm talking about Gwar hard. Now, he's not like gutturals or nothing like that. But another interesting thing I thought about his voice, and I thought this from the very opening track and the New Dark Age, he's got almost a Danny Filth sound to his voice, like Thornography era Danny Filth. If you're familiar with pornography, and then you listen to this, the way he's enunciating some of his words and his diction or his cadence, it's, to me, sounded a lot like Danny Phil. Not talking about the screaming, I'm talking about just Danny's regular singing voice. I thought that was interesting. I thought it added a cool flair and gives you a kind of a sense of this guy's range. I thought this album had cool thrash elements, some cool punk elements. It gets doomy at times, like Venom of the Platypus, track number 10, and Unto the Breach, track number 5. Both these songs get really doomy at certain parts, which is also cool. There's a lot going for this album. It's fun. It's got a cool pace. The guitar riffs are awesome. You got some slow, grimy riffs, like Blood Libel. You got a riff that sounds almost like the Jaws theme. It's really like, that's fucking just rad shit.
Yeah,
I dug it.
It was kind of weird for me checking this album out because I'm not nearly as familiar with Gwar as you are. I know you know their stuff a fair amount, and I really don't. And it's not like I don't like Gwar. I think they're really cool. I just hadn't really checked them out. So my only reference point, which I barely even remember, is the last album we did, which was way back in like 2017. But listening to this album, I thought it was a fun album. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed both singles, which were Berserker Mode and Motherfucking Liar. Blood Libel I enjoyed. The Cutter, that was a standout track to me. And lots of really good riffs. That's the main thing. That's the main thing with a band like this, is good and fun and creative riffs and moments. And I was enjoying that quite a bit. There was, and I'm not even sure, there's kind of a chunk at the end of 3 songs. I'm unsure if they are really part of the album or bonus tracks or not.
I think they're bonus tracks. I think the album's 12 songs. I think it ends after that.
I mean, I honestly, I listened to the whole thing, and because I know you said you kind of really didn't pay much attention when you got to those tracks.
Yeah.
And I would prefer the album to end with Bored to Death.
Yeah.
Like, Temple Ascent is kind of like a build-up. Starving Gods, that's pretty good. And then Deus Ex Monstrum is like almost absolutely nothing happening for 11 minutes. So I really don't want that to be part of the album. So it's like, you get rid of those. It's a strong album. I did enjoy it. I just it was tough for me to really give a scope. Like, okay, this is a cool album. Is it a good Gwar album? I really don't know the rest of the stuff to be able to say that. But I guess according to you, yes, it is.
I think it's up there. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not super well versed in their discography either, other than that chunk that I keep talking about.
A lot more than me.
But I do know I have listened to their early stuff, like the first couple of albums, like Scumdog and I can't remember the other one.
They have a lot of albums.
Yeah, there's a few earlier ones, but they're much more hardcore punk orientated, which is not really my typical style of music. It's only when they started going more heavy metal and thrashy that I started really liking the band. And this is kind of along those lines. It still has the punk in there. The punk core is still in there. You're not going to get away from it. But they have the heavy metal and, like I said, some doomy stuff and some other cool stuff intertwined in there as well. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
That's a pretty cool album. Well, with that being said, as for what album we're going to review next week, we are going to be checking out Shrine by Bleed From Within. Everyone's been talking about this album. Like, we've heard so much about it. People have been pushing us for the music videos. We've checked out the music videos. Like, it's really what's popping right now. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. Remember to like this video if you like it. Tell us in the comments below, what do you think of the albums that were released today? We'd love to hear your opinions, and subscribe if you guys are new. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Wild Self.
And keep the horns up.